Welcome to Employee Termination Tips. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal. And in this video, we're going to be discussing the importance of going local when it comes to selecting your employment lawyer. And I cannot overstress this, especially with myself producing YouTube videos that have a broad reach. Now, a lot of the information I provide of a general nature is of consequence and important to every employee who has been terminated, laid off, or fired. But at the same time, you have to understand there are certain particulars that are specific to each jurisdiction. So whether we're talking about different countries or different areas within those countries, being states or provinces, you have to ultimately be focused on that specific area. And lawyers are only admitted to practice in specific locales, and they only can speak to aspects based on where the person typically is employed. So that somebody who is speaking in one country might have important information to communicate, but there are limitations, and that has to be recognized. And it should then drive you, hopefully where there is a potential case, to speak to an employment lawyer who is admitted to practice in the jurisdiction in which you were employed. So if you were employed in the United States, you need to be speaking to a lawyer ultimately who is based or is admitted to practice in the United States, and who understands what law is applicable to your situation. The same goes to Canada, the same goes to England, the same goes to Australia, and so on and so forth. And then you have to break it down by the breakdown that is in that country, whether it's based on states, as in the United States of America, or on provinces, and even at a federal level in Canada. Because each of those areas or legally jurisdictions oftentimes has their own unique set of employment laws that are derived from statute and legislation from the government. And although there are many similarities between the various states or between the various provinces, the critical aspect ultimately is the distinctions. Because it is in distinctions that you are capable of oftentimes finding the leverage and the strategic advantage that you need as against your former employer. Because especially with these larger companies who have centralized their businesses to their headquarters oftentimes, and even then they centralize and they export, they outsource their employment functions, be it payroll, human resources, pensions, even legal aspects are outsourced. And because of that, and because of the generalization that also comes with payroll systems and the practices that the legal profession takes on, there's oftentimes a failure to appreciate the specifics within which you're working. This is particularly true when you're outside of the main locale of your country. So if you get into the more rural states, or just states outside of, let's say, California or New York or New Jersey, you'll find that you have slightly different laws related to employment practices. And the same applies in Canada, where once you're outside the province of Ontario, there's different employment standards legislation. And the differences can be quite significant. And it is these differences that give you leverage and strategic advantage. And especially when you engage with a lawyer who knows what they're doing, they can properly take advantage of those aspects, bring it to light, and deal with it effectively. Because when you get leverage from a legal standpoint, and when your lawyer is working with the laws that are controlling, and if your former employer, unfortunately, and this happens all too often, is using some other law or not practicing the law correctly as it relates to your employment situation, you then find yourself at a very strong tactical advantage. But naturally, you need your lawyer to be local or like within that state or province so that they can understand it, take advantage of it, and apply it. And although as a proponent of speaking about employment law, I might give you some generalized ideas that might have application even though you aren't residing in the same province or state that I am. You ultimately need to engage that local employment lawyer to pursue your termination package, to pursue what is due to yourself by way of termination and severance pay, but also potentially underpayments and other damages that may be due. And so much of that is dependent upon the local laws that are specific to yourself. Once you understand that, you can still spend enough time looking on the internet, understanding stuff on the internet, recognizing that the internet has its limitations, it's general, and even when you're getting government websites that are talking about stuff, there too, they are very general, and they don't necessarily tell you the whole picture. But hopefully when you engage with a local employment lawyer, that is when you will be able to address stuff specific to your situation with somebody who is capable of tackling the situation. And hopefully that individual understands where the weaknesses are in so many of the large and medium-sized and small businesses with respect to their engagement of employees, both during the course of their employment and upon their termination, so they can find out and identify where there are advantages for you having been terminated or fired from your job, so that you can be in an advantageous position to take advantage of the situation and simply pursue what you are entitled to, oftentimes earn money that is not being paid to yourself. And hence the importance of localizing your search and pursuing a local employment lawyer who understands the exacting laws of your jurisdiction, be it state or provincial, but knowing those laws so you're in the best advantage and you can approach things effectively and correctly so that you get what you deserve and you can make the best out of a difficult situation that you find yourself in right now. Thank you.